Hey guys, welcome to Ninja Secret number 4. We are going to talk about why you should stop pinning other people's content. Now, some of this might be a little bit of a repeat. There's another video, where I kind of give you specific ratios that are a good idea to kind of follow. But in this video, we're going to talk more specifically about kind of shifting your focus to your own content and why that's so important. We're going to talk about what most experts say about this, how to grow your account by pinning your own content, phasing out pinning the content of others, and what other content you should be pinning, and testing new theories and ideas for yourself. So let's talk about what most of the experts say. And I realize I sell a Pinterest course, so I'm falling into this category as well, right? Most of kind of the experts on Pinterest, that have blogs about blogging and driving traffic and that sort of thing, most of them seem to be in the same camp on this. And this is what they say. They say that you should pin 80% or more of other people's content while only pinning about 20% of your own. And I just find this fascinating. I mean, just so fascinating. I mean, think about that. If, you have X amount of followers, right, and you can only pin about X amount of times per day to kind of really maximize your visibility on Pinterest, and 80% of those pins are other people's anyway. I mean, that leaves you so little, exposure for yourself. I mean, that's just crazy to me. The theory behind this is that it shows that you're not selfish and you're only promoting your own content. You're running a business. I mean, you should be promoting your own content. You don't have to worry about stepping on other people's toes and being seen as spammy. I mean, you're running a business. Especially, this is why it's important to convert your account to a business, have your brand name, become an authority figure for your niche, so then you don't have to feel bad about putting that out there. If you put the best content out there, you don't have to worry about pinning it too much. This ranges. Some people say 50-50, some people say 80-20. At the beginning, that does matter, and you should follow that guideline. The reason for this is that you just don't have that much content yet, and you do need to kind of populate your boards with some popular content to get them some good engagement. If you're pinning from a brand new blog, Pinterest is going to take a little bit to kind of recognize your blog and the content that you post. So just keep that in mind. We're going to talk about kind of phasing that out. So let's talk about growing your account. Pinning other people's content, again, it's a good strategy at the very beginning when you don't have much content out there, but it's not a great strategy for long-term growth at all. And the reason is because you're just going to end up driving a bunch of traffic to other people's websites. Part of how it works on Pinterest, part of how you get new followers is when you pin content, kind of this button pops up every now and then. It says, do you want to follow this user? And that button, if you pin somebody else's content, that button's going to pop up. When anybody else ever repins that, the button's going to pop up for that person's content, not because you pinned it. The more that your content gets shared, the more opportunity that people have to follow your account. You're not going to do a whole lot of good in driving a bunch of traffic to other people's websites. You do need to pin other people's content every now and then, and it can help your boards grow. Think about other social media platforms, right? Think about Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, people do share other people's content a lot more. But like Instagram, you're posting your own stuff every single day. You don't share other people's stuff. So, I don't know where the notion came that was a good business practice, but it's something that we don't agree with at all as you grow your account. So let's talk about kind of phasing it out. As you grow and you publish more content, begin to pin more and more in your favor. But the more you grow, the more that ratio should shift. Now, we pin closer to about 95% of our own content and 5% of other people's content. So, if we're pinning 20-25 times a day, we'll maybe pin 5 or 10 times or so, and that's like maximum. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 times a day. Sometimes it's 5. It just kind of depends on really what I'm doing, and if I'm paying attention. Like when we travel, I'll go a few days without pinning anything of anybody else's content. It does not matter as much as people say, and you're only hurting yourself in the short term and long term if you're following that strategy. Remember that it is still important to pin other people's content. Pinterest wants to know that you're a team player for the same reason that you need to manually pin as well and not just solely schedule everything. The more automated your account is, the less Pinterest is going to kind of favor it. They want the natural engagement on your account. So it is important to still pin other people's content. So let's kind of show an example of, again, that it works for me because I'm telling you about it, but let's look at an example of another company. So this company is called Womanista. It used to be called Skinny Mom, and then she sold the website to Womanista just a few months ago. So they have 1,094,000 followers. They're huge on Pinterest, and they don't pin anything other than their own stuff. I scrolled before I started this video. I scrolled through quite far to find something else, and this is all their content. Some of it says Womanista, and some of it says Skinny Mom, because again, they own Skinny Mom now. So even the Skinny Mom stuff directs back to Womanista when you click on it. But again, this company is majorly successful. They've grown very quickly. When we first followed them, they were at 8 or 900,000 followers, and now they're up to 1 million. So they're very successful on Pinterest, and they don't do it either. There's lots of other companies out there that are the same, but I wanted to kind of show you guys this account just to give you a different example of somebody that it's working out really well for. And another reason why Womanista grows so much is because they have hundreds of articles. So they publish a lot of content, and they have all kinds of stuff going viral at all different times. Let's talk about when you do pin other people's content. I said to do it manually. Another thing you want to do is pin infographics. So I talked about this in the other video about kind of how infographics don't get click-throughs very often. They're more just very shareable content. So what happens is that it keeps the user on Pinterest. It increases the chance that they will keep scrolling through their feeds and find your content. So let's just look at a quick example here. I'm just going to type in fitness, and just to kind of show you stuff that I would pin. Again, stuff like this, where this is technically, or this one right here, these are both kind of infographics. And as we explained before, this means that the content is on here, and when you click on it, you can kind of absorb it right on the pin. You can screenshot it, and you don't have to click through. Remember, whenever you do pin stuff, that you do actually want to click through and make sure that it doesn't go to a site associated with spam. You don't want that on your account. This kind of content is better to pin when you do pin other people's stuff, because again, it's going to generally keep that user on Pinterest, and then they're going to keep scrolling, and then they might find your stuff, right? So, avoid stuff like this woman right here, because you have to actually click on it to get the information, and some of these other workout stuff where all these exercises are on the pin. That's kind of the stuff that's really good. Of course, you always want to pin a variety. Don't only pin that, but I do think that it's kind of helpful. And not only that, but you want to pin stuff that's going to get repinned a lot, because the repins and whatnot will help your own account grow. You do generally want to pin the most popular and shareable content anyway, and it does often have to be these infographics. So let's talk about testing. Another reason why I'm telling you this is because we've tested this stuff. We've tested these theories where people say to pin 80% of people's content and 20% of your own. We have tested that multiple times. It has provided us no additional traffic or followers during any of those times that we tested it. I mean, I would test it out for a week or two and track my followers, track our traffic, and I do notice that, our traffic will decline because we're not pinning as often, but we've tested this with pinning 80 times versus 20 times a day. There's kind of a magic number in there where, if you pin that much, you're not going to end up getting that much more traffic. Your stuff's just not going to get as repins. So I just wanted to let you know I'm not just talking about what's working for me personally. We've tested this out a few times, and it's never provided us any difference, but we have seen declines in traffic when we pin less of our own content. So the bottom line is to test often on your own account, because the Pinterest algorithms do change often. Nobody knows what stuff Pinterest really favors. All we can do is test stuff out and draw conclusions from where we're finding success and where we're not. And that's what our whole course is centered around, really, is all the stuff that we have been testing over the last year, and the stuff that's working and not working is what we are kind of passing on to you guys, and it's all user experience. So the best thing I can do is put my strategies into practice, because they've worked very well for me, but no matter what, you should always be testing on your own account. What is true now may not be true 6 months from now. So another kind of hot debate, are you being penalized if you pin the same content over and over and over again, right? Tailwind will let you know, hey, you've already pinned this pin to this board. And I've wondered, and a lot of other Pinterest experts are kind of wondering, are we being penalized to some degree by publishing repeated content? And I'll say, like, we have a yoga flexibility article and a yoga weight loss article that we've had for over a year now. It's our most popular stuff, and I repin it every couple of days just because it always gets repinned. So it doesn't seem to be penalizing us, but at some point in time, Pinterest could change an algorithm and say, you know what, the boards that have 50 of the same pin on it are no longer going to get very good engagement because we don't want repeated content. We just don't know, right? So the best thing that you can do is test this stuff on your own account and just see what's working for you and what's not working. And I believe I mentioned in other videos, remember when you're testing anything to test it for at least a week or two. Never test for only a day or two. It usually takes Pinterest a few days to kind of adjust to your new strategies and what you're doing. They don't change a whole lot, despite as often as they change stuff. In summary, be wary of what all experts say, and that's including Alex and I. I mean, everybody's got their own theories, and that's all they are theories. So we do teach from the standpoint of what has worked tremendously for us, and we will continue to update this course when stuff changes and it's working better or not working anymore. But every expert that says something, just kind of take it with a grain of salt. Bottom line, Pinterest algorithm does change very often, and everyone's strategies are going to change with it. This is why you have to test ideas and theories out on your your own account so you know personally what is hurting and what is helping your business. So, again, as you're putting all these practices into place on your own account, just constantly test. That's why Alex and I have moved so quickly with our businesses in the last year and a half that we've had them up, because we do test things out frequently. We take a very aggressive approach to our business, and we're always testing out new stuff. So, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but when you have an audience and the more your business starts to grow, you will be able to tell pretty quickly when stuff is working and not working. So that's really kind of the best advice I can give you here. Begin to shift that focus on your own content rather than other people's as you grow, because you are a business, and as long as you publish good content, you don't have to feel bad about that. So, all right, guys, see you next time.